What's going on, guys? Sparky here from No Name Gaming, and welcome to a new series here on the channel, the NCAA Football 06 Rice Dynasty. So we are going to be trying to see if we can build one of the worst teams in the NCAA Football 06 game to be a powerhouse football team out of the CUSA, Conference USA. They've got a really big stadium. We'd love to fill it with 70,000 fans, but early on, this team's not very good. So let's take a look at the rosters. I'm taking a look. We have a sophomore quarterback in Joel Armstrong. He's pretty solid, so that's going to work out pretty well in our favor looking at his stats. He's got decent throwing abilities, so hopefully over the years that'll develop. Taking a look at running back, we have two good junior running backs, so that'll help. Receiver, we've got a senior receiver in Antonio Lewis. Then behind him, not great stuff. We're losing two receivers at the bottom of the roster there. Steve Richardson, a strong tight end, but he's going to be graduating. Our offensive line, very meh, but they're underclassmen, so that's going to help us in the future. When it comes to defense, we've got John Siptak, a very strong defensive end here. He should be a cornerstone for this defense. Lining up on the other side, Courtney Gordon. And then if you take a look at the tackles, we have Steve Anderson and George Chukwu locking it down. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops because Chukwu is only a sophomore, but he is one of the better players on this team. Then shifting to the linebacker core, we have a decent core. Adam Herron, 76 overall as a senior. But then we have Martin Hubbard and Ben Robertson as juniors here on the outside, so that'll be helpful for us going forward. Then taking a look at the secondary, it's not terrible here at cornerback, 72 and 68, two juniors between Ginn and Bird. Go back to free safety. We have Andre Downs, who's 78 overall, so he should grow pretty nicely for us. And then Christian Woods, the senior at strong safety, and Aubrey White at 68, a freshman coming in, so he might get some playing time. We'll see how we decide to take that in the direction we decide to go. Now, taking a look at special teams, we have Luke Juiced, sophomore, only 62, but his kick ratings, take a look here. He's got 84 kick power, so that's not too bad. 78 accuracy, that's all right. And then the highest rated player on our team, the first team Conference USA player, Jared Scruggs. He's a junior. He's got great kick stats, great awareness, so that'll come in clutch for us for in terms of field position when it comes to the many anticipated failed attempts. So now talking about our first team first team CUSA player, let's go take a look at our All-Americans and All-Conference players. So here we are, preseason All-Americans. Let's just take a moment to look through here. Notable players. I mean, obviously a lot of big names in here. This was a huge draft class this year and the year after. We got Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, AP, Mr. Adrian Peterson, Mike Hass out of Oregon State, Derek Hagan out of Arizona, Mercedes Lewis out of UCLA. Lots of big names that go to the NFL. Manny Lawson in there. We have Haloti Nada, Roger White, AJ Hawk. So just more names upon names. You can see everybody that's in there. The second team, not as big. There's a couple in here though, like D'Angelo Williams. You've got Lawrence Maroney, Calvin Johnson, the sophomore out of Georgia Tech. And just kind of running down again the list, you can take a look at all the names that are in here. Mario Williams, one of them in there that becomes a very strong player. Ernie Sims as well, AJ Nicholson. So now let's get to where we are involved here, the CUSA. Taking a look here, first team. We only had one player in the first team, just so you can take a look through again. It is Scruggs, our punter. I don't believe we have anybody in the second team All CUSA, but let's just take a quick rundown here. If there's any other names that stick out, we can point those out, but looking through onto the defense now, it doesn't look like we have anybody, so definitely coming in as an underdog here. Only one person making that top All CUSA mark. So let's take a look at the conference preview. All right, so here we are. Conference preview for the CUSA or Conference USA. So UTEP predicted to take it all. They actually are starting the season ranked at number 24. But as we run down, UAB, Memphis, Marshall, Houston, Tulsa, Tulane, SMU, we're coming in at 10th place, so it doesn't look like it's going to be too good for us. But then Eastern Carolina and Central Florida file in the 11th and 12th slots. If we go over to the West, which is the division we are in, we are predicted to come in last place behind SMU and Tulane. So we'll see if we're going to be able to change the tables on that, or if it's going to be rough going for us. But since UTEP is in that top 25, let's go take a look at the preseason top 25. All right, so here we are at the preseason top 25. So we've got two polls in here. We have the coaches poll and the media poll. The game pulls the rankings from the coaches poll, but we can take a look at the media poll as well. Your undisputed number one team heading into the season is the USC Trojans. I mean, they've got a phenomenal team. They're stacked. So we got USC, Tennessee, Iowa, Oklahoma, and Florida State run down your top 5. Texas, Michigan, Louisville, LSU, and Virginia Tech run down your top 10. And just to take a look through the rest of the top 25, here are your teams. Very stacked out of the ACC and Pac-10 and SEC. A couple Big 12 teams sliding in. Pitt actually slides in at 23. Pitt there. And then Georgia Tech rounding out. And there you go. You can see the other teams who are right on the brink of getting in for the top 25. Here's the media poll, just so you can get a quick look at that. You can see how there's a couple differences here as you go through, like Ohio State and Florida ranked a lot higher. Florida State getting the shaft there a little bit, being dropped down outside. Texas A&M actually makes it into the top 25, same with Fresno State when it comes to the media poll. And Cal squeaks in there as well, so kind of interesting to see the difference there. If you go to just the overall standings here, you can see where we are. We're way down the order. We are currently ranked 98 in the country. Actually, just one spot behind SMU, but you can also see our rankings. The ratings don't look very good. We are a C- overall with a D offense and a C- defense. So it's going to be tough to make stops, and it's going to be tough to score as well. But talking about scoring, let's go take a peek at our schedule for this season. All right, so here we are at the 2005 Rice Owls football schedule. We're kicking off the season nice and easy against Sam Houston State in week number 1. We'll take a look at each ratings as well so you can see how we compare to the teams we'll be facing. That is week 1. Week 2, we take it to the Rose Bowl and UCLA, trying to see if we can pull off an upset against the Bruins. It's going to be a tough one there. Then we continue that long off-road journey. We go to number 6, Texas, and a team that is even better than the Bruins. Then we finally get a home game. We face off against Navy in week 5. Then week 6, we kick off Conference USA play with the UAB Blazers. Then we continue with the ECU Pirates on the road. Then we finally get back at home. We face off against the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. We get a bye week in week 9, and then we have a long stretch here to the end of the season. We get a home game against the currently number 24, UTEP Miners. Then we get on the road again. We go out to SMU. Then we're back home against the Tulane Green Wave. We have the UCF Golden Knights, and then we kick off, end the season against the Houston Cougars in Houston. So that is our regular season. We have the bye in week 15. But our our opponent schedule got a C ranking, so it's not your easiest schedule, but also having 2 teams in that top 25 is not going to help with that strength of schedule. And UCLA also a pretty good opponent to have in there, so we'll see if we can maybe squeak out an upset there. We might be able to. It's going to be a stretch, but we'll see how we do. But before we hop out for this episode, let's go take a look at the Heisman Watch for the preseason and see who's in the running for that coveted Heisman Trophy. All right, so here we are, Heisman Watch. We've got 5 very, very talented and future pro players. We've got Matt Leinart, currently is the top candidate coming into the preseason. Behind him, sophomore Adrian Peterson. And then fellow backfield mate from USC, Reggie Bush, followed up by Vince Young at quarterback out of Texas. And then finishing out your top 5 candidates for the Heisman in the preseason is Ted Ginn Jr. out of The Ohio State University. So we'll be able to check in on this throughout the season. But that's all we have here for the preseason episode of the Rice Owls Dynasty. Make sure you check in. We are going to have videos every week for each of our games. You'll be able to get caught up on everything happening with the Rice Owls here on the No Name Gaming YouTube channel. We're also going to be running a simultaneous Madden 06 Dynasty. So we're going to be creating a little bit of a connected universe here where you can see maybe Vince Young gets drafted by, who knows, he might get drafted by the Cleveland Browns, the Houston Texans, or a team that's different from the Tennessee Titans if he decides to go pro. Matt Leinart maybe ends up going in the first round pretty high, or maybe Reggie Bush decides to stay for his senior year and really shakes up the draft then, because he is a very highly sought after prospect in the NFL for the upcoming season. But we'll be running a Madden 06 franchise over there, and we'll be exporting our draft classes from NCAA right into that, so you'll be able to follow some of your favorite players from college football into the pros. And one other side note, I did try to get as many real-life names in here as possible. I was having issues trying to get an already created roster to work on my PC SX2. And so what I did was I went through, got All-Americans, all-conference teams, the NFL draft info and everything, and I did that for about 2 seasons for the 2005 and 2006 college football seasons, and tried to get everything as close as I could to real life. So there might be a couple that names aren't there for that I messed up on or I missed. So I apologize for that in advance, but I got as many as I could, especially some of the big names and highly sought after players. So you'll be able to follow some of the real names into the pros, and even some of the names that aren't the real guys, if they do make it in, we'll be able to keep track of them. And hopefully within a couple years, we'll be able to get some Rice players into the NFL and trying to make a difference in the pros. So that's all we have for today, though. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any Rice Owls games here on No Name Gaming. And make sure to check out the Madden 06 franchise so you can keep up with all the football action here on No Name Gaming. Have a great day, guys.